Hi, good morning, everyone, and I'm so glad again to start the podcast. Let's begin with a very versatile personality. Her name is Priyanka Agnani. She is a finance professional who carries 11 years plus of experience. She is certified in psychology from University of British Columbia, diploma in psychotherapy, diploma in positive psychology, and is also a certified CBT life coach. Let's hear from her what made her leave her 9 to 5 to start her own firm, a very interesting company, a very interesting concept actually called Mind Gym. So let's dig in further to hear the story from her. Hi, Priyanka, how are you? Welcome to our podcast.
Good. Thanks for calling me, and I just hope what you're doing is totally fabulous. And yeah, so as you mentioned, I have been a working professional for 11 years. I was into corporate finance, and when I say corporate finance, I was actually handling working capital, credit control, one of the very demanding profiles in corporate finance. And
Correct.
towards the end, I was actually at a very senior position, and it was during COVID when things changed. So there were people leaving the jobs, you were at a very demanding positions, and to deliver you had to give extended working hours. And that
Correct.
was a point of time when there were few things that happened to my body. For example, I had frequent headaches, I started getting vertigo, I started gaining weight. And unlike everyone else, I just thought it was some side effect of just sitting at home and just not doing anything. Though I was very physically active, me and my husband were doing regular exercises, but it just happened to me. So I did not know what was happening, but my work was almost for 12 to extended 18 hours at times. And I did not realize what was happening, because when you are at that position and when the company give you so much of responsibility, you take it on yourself and you just want to deliver.
Correct.
And it was that point of time when when the first hit of vertigo happened to me, and I was in that roller coaster ride. It was something that you have a very cheap alcohol and you are in this zone for almost 24 hours, and you don't realize that it's not coming out, and you just keep on throwing. I reached out to multiple doctors, nobody knew what was happening. And then I think after almost 24 hours, somebody said it can be vertigo, try doing a maneuver.
Okay.
And that instantly changed when my husband helped me do that. I was fine in 5 minutes, and
Okay.
that got onto me as to what happened and what needs to be done. So that was the
Correct.
first hit on me, that have I given so much of pressure on my body, or what's happening that this thing can happen to me, who is eating well, to be doing exercises regularly, and I don't had any kind I thought I did not had any kind of stress or pressure, but that's not the case. So I started reading about it since then, and then I realized it was all stress that was coming on me, which I did not realize. So at that point of time, I'll mention my husband is a mentalist. He's a magician. So around 12 years back, when he was in a cruise ship, he was working in US. So he had this machine brainwave reader. So then called machines, that was the first that was introduced. He had
Okay.
pre-booked them and got it to India. So it was somewhere in a box, and he one fine day said that I want to try something on you. And someone like me, I was like, no, I'm good, I am happy, and it's okay, we'll just take medicines and I'll be fine. And he then made me sit and realize that if you go to a doctor and take medicines for these things, there's no end to it.
Correct.
When you refer to people, and then you are popping in medicines for the ailments that you're getting. So that I started doing it. For vertigo, I had medicine. For headaches, I was not frequently, but when there were days when I was taking medicines. So I had actually got into that zone of popping a pill.
Correct.
And then he
Correct.
made me do few things, and then I realized that somebody like me, who feels that who is good at work and doing delivering their best, I had a very poor attention levels. And when I say poor attention levels, it was something like when people say that they're multitasking and they're shifting
Mm.
from one work to the other. So scientifically, there's no term as multitasking. And when people say that they're doing it, you are actually shifting your attention from one work to the other so quickly that you're not attentive. So
Correct,
imagine
correct,
if you do one work with full attention, where will you lead?
correct,
So I mean, that was a, I mean, sudden change for me, that what am I doing?
correct, correct,
So that was attention. Then we checked my relaxation, and then we calculated my stress levels. And then that was, I would say, life changing activity that we did at home. I started talking about it in my office, and it was very difficult. I mean, making people understand that
correct,
I can have something, and not just me. I mean, there would have been many more, but people don't acknowledge that.
correct,
That push got me to something, that this is not what my aim is to do. And when nobody supported me, I thought that I will do it. Possibly, if there would have been places where you can go and have these activities and talk more about it, this would not have been my direction. So
correct, correct.
that's when Mind Gym was born. And so we already had this one technology that was, I think, 12 years old. We started reading about it. That's when I started taking courses on psychology. And we got these bands from US, started experimenting on them. And when I say experimenting on them, so these brainwave readers have been in market for 10, 12 years now. The challenge
Okay,
here is that these bands are integrated either to your laptop or your mobile phone. So when you talk about your attention, relaxation, stress level, calmness, or all these cognitive abilities, what happens is that when you do or perform some activity via a screen, you are not attentive, you cannot relax, because it is again a screen time. That's the problem. So the screen time is the problem. When you have to move out of that screen time is when you will get relaxed, when you would improve your attention. So that concept, we just thought of making an, I would say, a small game that was actually a trial. And that's when I actually had been in a position to finally leave my job. For first 6 to 8 months, we were experimenting with what games can be made, how it can be developed. So that was the entire process. So it was me and my husband doing it, the entire thing. We reached out to a lot of engineers, students, companies, and finally we, I mean, the collaboration of couple of them gave us a small, our first prototype, where we could actually see and measure anyone's attention using the brainwave readers.
correct,
So that was done,
correct,
and that's when we realized that it is possible and people get excited. So we showed it to a couple of family and friends, and when you yourself practice it on a game, so I would just mention, as in people play some kind of a video game, or when kids are being told how uh, remote controlled car is to be played, they give their full attention to it, and they know what is to be done. So here the, I would say, the magical part is that your game is being played with your cognitive abilities. So it's something like that you have the power to move things and see what's happening. So if you lose your attention, for example, if you're playing an attention game, you would see that it stops.
So, okay, so what I was asking, that when you teach this or you tell people that this is how it works, this is how we test your cognitive ability, is it not difficult to explain them, because this is a very different concept, not everybody is aware that how the technology works. So what were your challenges explaining them, because it's a mix of AI, psychology, science, philosophy, all together. So how were you able to express these things to them so that they can understand, because for a layman like me, even it might get little overwhelmed. So how did you tackle the situation?
So as I said, that I had been reading about it, so over 2.5 years that I have been into psychology. The program that we have developed for individuals to come and experience is designed in a customized way, that when
Okay,
you come in, you play certain games,
Okay.
and initially when you play these games, there is no brainwave readers, there is nothing that is of I would say something different that you've seen. You just play simple puzzles. Then
Okay.
in between I explain you, so it's actually a curated program where you experience for 1.5 to 2 hours, and in between, whenever I put a band on you, I will show you exactly what's happening with you. So for
Okay.
example, that initially you yeah so initially you play a couple of games, they are doodling sessions. So every activity, so every cognitive ability is linked to a normal game or puzzle or board game, something like that. Then that is followed by our machines. And there are also activities that you do in your daily life. For example, the first thing that I would start with is after you have warmed up for 15 minutes. That, for example, something that bothers you at work a lot,
Hmm.
like responding to a certain email, tackling certain person or something, and I would put you in a simulated environment for 10 minutes. First 5 minutes I would actually talk to you, then I would leave you for 5 minutes, and then that's when I test you. So something similar that you do it almost every day. And
Hmm.
when you see your result, you actually know that does it bother me or is it something in my head.
Correct. Correct.
So yes, so when you see your result or when you see your graph basis the activity that you do every day, you know where you stand. So that's
Hmm.
something giving them the experience they daily go through.
Correct. Correct.
So then you are, after 1.5 or 2 hours, you know where you stand and you go out of it with the lifestyle that you have today. Then
Hmm.
you come back after 15 days and then you see that what improvements have you done in those 15 days.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So that's how it is.
So, what was that shift that you felt while going from corporate to this a very new concept, though, and where you are starting a new firm, and what were the challenges that you actually faced? Because everybody actually, glorifies, starting up a new company, startups, and all, but
Yeah.
it's not a cakewalk. It's very difficult. So,
Yes.
you certainly would have faced a lot of challenges because going from a stable income where you are earning well, you are getting your monthly salary, you're switching to something where there is everything is unpredictable. You don't know whether this is going
True.
to work, and that too to a very different opening a very different form with a very different concept, explaining people that. What were your challenges when you started this?
So as you actually mentioned, a stable income, yes, that was a big challenge. So to be very honest, when you have been working for so many years and you know that you're going to get something at the month end, for first couple of months, I mean, I was excited about what I was doing, but initially they were all free workshops. And that, when you say challenges, when you go to a corporate or when you are working for somebody else, you have your KRA defined. You know this is your responsibility and these are the things that you have to deliver. There can be somebody that you would have to pitch into something extra, or that is just 20% of your task there on the days that the company needs you more. But at the end of the day, you know this is what you have to do. With startup, you start, you don't know, so you are somebody who is taking the printout for everything. You are the one who is making each and every presentation. You are the one who is making all the cold calls. You are the one who are attending to the customers the first time, so you are serving the water to them, tea to them. So every bit of it, you are somebody, from you're doing actually a work from a peon to a CEO, everything all by yourself.
Everything, yes, yes.
And when you think that it's a glorified job, no, it's not. There are days when you would just be taking the printouts. There are days when you will be just sticking your head with these presentations and nothing coming out of it. There'll be days when you'll be just making the cold calls and just writing the emails. So there are, these days are actually draining. But when you see something, so it's a baby, something that anything that you do it with all the love and care, and it's
Correct.
yours. So something that you do it, so this is something that no matter what, you have to do it, is what I would say, the passion for doing it because it's
Correct.
yours.
Correct.
For
Correct.
companies, when you no matter how loyal you are, the days you would just crib and leave, but you deliver your best, but for your company you crib and you still do that job. And you do not, and honestly you do not do it in front of anyone else. So you have your friends and colleagues at work, and then you discuss something. With the startup, you just crib within, and then that just dies up because I would say it is exactly an emotion of the entire of something like almost having a baby, that you have to grow from the scratch and make it to somebody that people would see it
Admire.
as I would say admired. Yeah. So it's definitely not something that people glorify. It's something that initially few months, I would say almost a year, is something where you'll have to struggle with money,
Correct.
cut down on a lot of things. So yes, it's a very difficult road, and especially coming from the startup where people don't know what it is.
Correct.
And uh, forget about knowing what it is about mental wellness. So a lot of people in India still don't accept they need it.
Correct.
So people have poor work life balance, people have very low attention, they get agitated and annoyed at every second. They think that they are not being valued or they are not appreciated, and still people think they are not the ones who need that. I mean, people would prefer going for a couple of drinks almost every day after work, but they would not get to the core reason why things are happening. So changing that perspective was a difficulty, is still a difficulty.
Correct. 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 So
But
how?
the
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry,
Please go
continue.
on.
Yes.
So I was
So I
asking.
just wanted to add. So it was just that to even very few or to any number of people who we help change their lifestyle is good enough.
So, what I was asking, to just add on to what you said, what was the market response? Because as you said that it was still difficult then, it is still difficult now. But when you started, the
Yeah.
first market reaction or the response, whether it was within your friends and family, with your near ones or dear ones, what was the reaction? What was their response? How did they respond to this entire technique and technology? When you tested and tried on different people, was there a very positive response coming? Was there a acceptance that, yeah, I have a little bit of stress which I should handle? Was that kind of response that you expected and you got it, or it was completely opposite?
To my surprise, when people accept it in a very positive way, and so people who turned up were very happy, they wanted to do it. But there is something that is still surprising, that if I had my first workshop had 10 individuals, few friends and friends of friends, there were people who were open and wanted to explore more, talk about it, but not in front of others. So
Okay.
when I say that, there was a couple, both of them had their own issues which they did not discuss with each other, claiming that the spouse won't understand their work style and would
Mhm.
not want to get into it. But both of them wanted to come to us and have these sessions more and more. They come together, they play together, but the counseling sessions or their testing is done like,
Separate.
anyways, we do testing for each individual separately. But people don't want to talk about it. I mean, even with their closed family members. So so even today there are people who come for one-to-one sessions, do not discuss it with their parents. I have multiple of teenage, I mean, I would say, so we only cater to 16 plus. We have people coming from 16 to 25 whose parents don't know that they are going through something.
Oh,
There are couples coming in whose counterparts, whose spouses, or who their partners do not know that they are coming for it. So they don't discuss these things. So they personally know, but they don't talk about it. So, I mean, when I say their parents or partners don't know about it, nobody else know that they're coming for it. So they won't even promote these kind of activities. So it's just that we still have a long journey in this way.
Correct. But it is so sad to hear this, that the near ones don't know about what they are going through. And actually, I
Yes,
honestly feel that your parents and your friends who are around you are your biggest support system when you are not feeling well,
true.
or you're going through a difficult phase. Because I have seen that in my family. Honestly, I have seen a lot of up and down, but my family has been very vocal about it. Like, they have come up front and said that I have a problem, I need help. Come on now, help me. So that is something which not everybody does. And I think I'm blessed with that. But it's so sad to know that, especially when you're in your 16s to 25, you are so naive and you don't know how to handle stress, how to handle situation. And they coming helpless, but at least they are coming out, which is a great thing. But their family not knowing about it is a very sad thing. So how do
And I mean, I feel that's when you need such kind of places. Because when
Hmm,
I was going through, I did had my support of my husband, but when you want to do what next, where do I stand, and what can I do the best way? So you have apps which you would download, pay money for subscriptions, and not use it because it's to be done I mean, it's almost DIY activity. So you do it for first 3 days and then you leave it.
correct,
But similar to a gym, when you go to a gym, when you pay membership, or when you even go for 1 or 2 sessions and plan once or twice in a week, you go there, you see a community, you talk to, so people whom you meet at gym, you talk about your diet, you to talk about what activities help them, what can I you refer to them, and you look up to them, or you have that bond. I mean, possibly they would not be your bestest of friends, but at gym you help each other. So in a similar way, such kind of a community where you come discuss, because almost everybody, I mean, I would say they have different kind of problems, but then they originate from the same source. It can be your work, it can be your relationship, it can be anything, but you wanting to talk about it in a similar way, what helped you can help
hmm,
somebody else, or
hmm,
some, I mean, some tweak here and there, but talking about it, letting it out is what is important. So these kind of communities with right guidance, right entertain, so in a very gamified and entertaining way is what is required today. So you don't
correct.
go to a dull gym, you go to a gym which is good, well equipped, and you have good trainers. In the similar way, there's a space where people open up is required these days.
Correct, correct. I think you answered my next question some way, but I still would want to know a little more, that how and what is the USP of Mind Gym? If in a very simple way, if I had to ask, the USP of Mind Gym which makes people, come to you again. Like, what do they see, or what is that service that you make sure makes people comfortable and they say that, okay, Priyanka, we are coming for another session.
Yeah. See, it's we help you measure, analyze, and improve. Simple. Nobody measures your cognitive abilities today. So measuring is where you know your score. That is, I would say, that's the only thing that is required. I mean, forget about my first session, second session. When you know that where you are is what is important. When you know your body weight, you know what is to be done and what is not to be done. So we help you measure, analyze what happened to you, and help you improve. And the best part is in a gamified way, so there is nothing that is very serious about it. It's all fun activities, you play games, and that is how you're being measured, and that's how you also improve. So the combination of these things is what Mind Gym is all about.
And how do you keep yourself up to date? Because it is a mix of your psychology and technology together. So it's very important that you keep
Yeah.
yourself up to date and what is happening around, what is happening in terms of technology, and also and what is happening in terms of psychology also. So how do you keep yourself up to date so that Mind Gym is giving the top notch service?
Yeah. So in terms of technology, I would say we are coming up with games even today, and we would keep on doing it because these bands have been in market from 12 years, but there have been various variations, and there are new
Hmm.
ones coming up. So I don't remember the name of the company, but there is somebody who's coming up with a small chip that you put it inside your head and everything would be measured in that way. So
Okay.
our purpose is not to develop these bands. We would use each and every technology possible to help you improve. So we would have them, you come and experience. So that's our main purpose, and we integrated with the games. So in those terms, we will be sure throughout that that is being done at the best way possible. When you talk about psychology, I am still studying about it. As you said, everything, every day new thing is coming up. So I mean, so that has got it into me that I dedicate a few minutes or at least an hour almost every day to talk, to read about it. Moreover, all these experience of the clients coming in also, I would say, help me or teach me a lot of more things. So you are actually dealing with somebody who is human, and there are days when you grow with their experience
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
learn more and more, and then you study about those experiences, as in you would have an answer at that point of time, but then you read more, why would he or she would have got into that thing. So
Hmm.
that's the challenging part, and that's the, I would say, fun part that keeps me updated on the psychology front.
That's great and amazing to know. And actually keeping yourself updated is so important in this field, that people need to trust you. Basically, they come you because to you because they trust you. So keeping updated
Yeah.
to everything that's happening is very important. And of course, experiences so teach a lot. No books can teach as much as an experience does. But then coming to my next question, as you said, this is where people come and play and you curate the entire session and everything. So how are you planning to expand? Because right now you're doing it only in Pune, right? You haven't explored any other
Mumbai,
places in
Mumbai.
Mumbai, sorry, Mumbai, and you haven't explored any other
Yeah.
city so far. So what is your expansion plan?
So the idea behind this is that we have these centers in as many cities possible. To
Okay.
start with, we have had workshops in Pune, we have had workshops in Panchgani, to
Okay.
the destinations we can go right now. We are planning a workshop in Delhi. So opening a center is very capital intensive. So for
Correct.
now, we are planning our sessions in multiple cities, and once we actually go to and also when we have multiple centers, in the long run, after I would say 2 to 3 years, we also have plans to rent out these bands. When people
Oh,
are aware how to use them, rent out these bands along with the games that we have developed. So this is something like that you would not need 24/7. When you come to us, you come to us for an hour and a half, or maximum 2 hours. So we would give you a customized thing as to you take rent a band for 2 to 3 days, wear them at specific time, sorry, and we would help you analyze. For so people who are not in the cities where the center would be present, or anywhere in India, I would say, or anywhere in the world where we can send these bands and the games, you can experience what's happening and help you improve.
correct.
So that's a very long term plan, but to start with, we are just doing workshops in multiple cities right now.
But at least your vision is clear. You know what you want and how you want and what is the path to reach there,
Yes.
which is itself a beautiful thing. So down the line in the next 5 years, or let's say after 5 years, where do you see Mind Gym?
See, I see something in parallel to a physical gym. And honestly, I do not fear competition because I really want somebody to come in and help us promote what mental wellness is. So it's actually not so. There are so many gym brands, physical gyms in India, and that's why people want to go to a gym. So
Correct.
the need of the hour is to have as many as mental or mind gym possible, where people would not go when they are mentally unfit. They come
Hmm.
when they are fit and improve themselves. So this is something, the idea behind this is, in 5 years we open as many centers as possible. People should be aware, start using these games. So people who do not work out at home for physical, they at least buy dumbbells and do something. So you at
Correct.
least start using these bands, know where you stand. And I mean, the need of the hour is everybody knows what to eat, what not to eat. The Our next generations know they're unhealthy and they control their diets, but they still don't know when to control their minds. They're always on their phones or something, that their emotions are so extreme. So that is required, that people should be aware of mental fitness.
Correct, correct. I think that's a very beautiful thing to say, and I am so happy to also hear you saying that I don't look at competition. Please come and help people out. And I think that's also the need of an hour, because with the way we are heading and we are progressing and the stress level that even a youngster has these days, whether it is for their exam or for the family or whatever it is overburdening. It's very disheartening at times to hear it out, and I think it's a wonderful thing. I think this is where we close all the Q&A and everything that we want. But before I wrap up, I just want to ask, which has been like a curiosity that's going on in my mind, and I really wanted to know. And then we are going to jump into a fun game section. Is when you devised or came up with the name Mind Gym and the logo and the color and everything, because you come from a finance background, how did this everything come into place? How did this name came into picture? How did this colors came into picture?
So honestly, Mind Gym is Mind. So Mind Gym is MYIND.
Huh.
And when I was coming up, I actually wanted to keep it simple as Mind Gym. And when you open a company, mind is not given. I mean, there were very rules. So I think 3 years before I would have got it. Now it's very difficult to get
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like mind in your company name. And I don't know, I just slept over it, and next day I was like, why not make it as My India and Mind together? So that's how Mind came in. That it
Oh,
would
oh,
be sound. So that's the reason we write M capital, Y small, and all other
I
together. So it also
correct.
specifies My India and Mine. And and about the colors and something, so it has to be something that is very appealing and very calming together. And the aqua color actually came from, I mean, the idea of that came from that. So,
Okay.
and the logo is anyway strengthening your mind. So it's a gym for your mind. So it's a mind or a brain doing these physical activities.
Okay, okay. No, everything has come out very beautiful, lovely. I hadn't even taken the aspect of my India. It always struck me as mind. I thought
Yeah.
it's mind. I never thought it
Yes.
why it is M than IND. But I think it's beautiful. So thank you so much, Priyanka. This was a lovely conversation. Now I have a very fun section, which is completely very relaxing. Like you make people play games. It's time that we play a little game with you. It's going to be fun, fun questions all together. So let's see how it goes. So my first question is, you were not a finance professional, and I'm sure you love crunching numbers, and that's why you went into finance. If you were not a finance professional, what was your other choice of profession that you might have chosen?
So I did my BCA before coming into MBA. I would have been some software engineer or something like that. I would have done my MCA, and I mean, I think I would be coding somewhere.
तब ये 11 years नहीं थोड़ा और जल्दी स्टार्ट हो जाता ट्रस्ट मी.
Yeah, possible.
So yeah, so then my second question is, what is your favorite go to or comfort food, like you can have anytime, any day, any hour?
See, I'm a Sindhi. I love kadhi chawal, and specially made by mom.
Oh, I love kadhi chawal.
So,
Kadhi chawal is my favorite also.
and I
So
love Maggie. So on the gloomy days when I'm too tired, yes. I mean, when I just need, when I'm upset, and that even my husband knows, when I'm unwell and I'm like too tired, too drained, and when he has to give me something, that's what he gives me.
Okay, this is fun. So now,
Yeah.
if Priyanka is ever upset, then we send her a Maggie packet. Because we can't make it, so we have to send you a packet to make it yourself. So yeah, so that is thing. And now my third question. So what is one thing, or maybe a series or a song which is your favorite and you can go to and watch, which relaxes you and you love listening to the song, or love listening to seeing the series, which is like chalo kuch nahi to relax karna hai, ye dekh lete hain.
Musical person, but I have couple of series. I mean, either of them would be good. I like Schitt's Creek, I like Big Bang Theory, and I like Friends. So any episode of these would be something that calms me down.
All three of them is my playlist all the time, all the year, especially Friends, which I cannot stop. Once it ends at the last episode, I'm bound to go and see the first one on the very that day after it ends, because I can't see them part away. It's so
But
difficult. And now my last and final question. One thing which you know that okay, this is not a healthy thing to eat, but you still can't stop yourself eating it. Like ki chalo, it's a cheat day. You go and just munch it.
Maggie again. So I don't have a sweet tooth at all. I just love dark chocolates and cakes, but I'm not very fond of it. So I mean, even dark chocolate, I would not count it as unhealthy. So the only unhealthy thing that I eat is Maggie,
I thought you were a Sindhi, so
or
you
I would
should.
say pani puri.
Pani puri to is, oh my god. Is it unhealthy, by the
Pani
way? I
puri,
don't consider
yes.
it unhealthy.
I don't know. I don't count it as unhealthy. So that's the reason I said Maggie again.
I don't know if it is unhealthy, but even I am a big fan of pani puri. Like I can eat pani puri every day. Every
Yeah,
day. Great, great.
yeah.
It was very nice speaking to you, Priyanka. Thank you for sparing your time to have this conversation, because I want people to be aware of this concept, be aware of how important mental health is these days, and do not hesitate to go check Mind Gym's website, connect with Priyanka. Please take help if you need so, because there are so many people I know they need help. They should take this up, but they are not. And I hope you soon come to Bangalore, because I really want to attend a session of yours. Or if I ever visit Mumbai, then I'm going to come and visit you.
Do. Thank you,
Thank
Nupur. I mean, more than me doing something, I honestly believe what you are doing is amazing, and bringing out what women entrepreneurs are doing is something what everybody needs to know. Also, not glorifying startups again and how struggleful this entire process is, and bringing out how women do it is something truly great. I mean, please continue doing it. It is something that is the need of the hour.
Thank you so much for this kind words. I'm just doing it because I really want the real struggles to come out. I know being a women entrepreneur, each and every day, second is a challenge, and you go through so many things,
Yes.
and handling them is not easy. Thank you so much, Priyanka. Lovely to have you, and hope we do a
Thanks,
session
Nupur.
very
Thanks a
soon.
lot.